James Arnold Taylor, the voice of Obi-Wan Kenobi. Welcome to a more civilized podcast. This is the podcast you're looking for. You may not go about your business. Stay here, listen, and then move along.
Well, Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
That was yesterday.
Oh,
Yes.
I loved my present from you, Ross, and I'm sure you loved your present from me.
I did so much.
It was so good, Chris.
You both will have been loving it by then.
Yep.
Yes.
Chris, you love your gift you got from me.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was so
sure
good.
You guys love your gifts from me.
Yep, they were
I
just
totally
so good.
already bought and gave those to you.
Yep.
That's totally a thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Chris
So,
is-
Chris, what did Kyler get you?
I got him a game on Steam.
Hey.
Oh.
Yeah. Yep, that's what I got,
Yep.
Chris. And
Which-
he's loved it so much, he called me the day that I got it.
Which
and
specifically?
You're a future psychic.
I am, and he doesn't want to cheapen the gift by revealing it.
I'd love to tell you. I'd love to tell you, listeners, what I got them. But the problem is that when my wife and I were going through buying Christmas presents, I said, "Oh yeah, let me worry about presents for all of them," which means that shopping at the time of you listening to this has been done, but it wasn't that long ago that it was done.
And see, that was one of the first deals I made with my wife after we got married. I killed the spiders, she gets the presents.
There you go.
So
Yeah, Chris and I, going all the way back to high school, are notorious procrastinators.
Yes.
well, I was too.
I was known to buy a good chunk, if not all of my presents on the 23rd or 24th of December.
Yeah, that's actually true. I remember getting
Yep.
several gifts like, hey, I got this for you today. Here you go. And it's like, oh, good job, Chris. Christmas is in 7 hours. You know?
Yep.
Anyway, so, yeah, we hope you all had a wonderful Christmas and are enjoying, hopefully, a day off. Anyway, I'm Kyler.
I'm Chris.
I'm Ross.
Yep. Ross has a little teeny tidbit of news.
We do. So, for those Star Wars Resistance fans that have been enjoying the series, you may or may not be disappointed with the holiday break while they recoup, replan, see
Take
how
a normal
well.
break.
Well, they take a break, but you also at this point see how things went, decide what you're going to do.
It was pretty good. I got a little bit behind, found a place to watch them online without having to pay for it, so I did. And
We're not accessories to this.
yep, nope, and it's actually pretty good. There's definitely some like first order, trying to strong arm people around the station and stuff. Like it's pretty good. I'm excited for the second half of this season because they've hit the point where we've introduced pretty much everybody, and so now we can start getting into shenanigans. There was a little showdown between the First Order and the Resistance that's technically not supposed to happen because technically there's the peace treaty and whatever. So we're in a truce, a Cold War, so to speak. So there's not supposed to be any engagements, and they're on this station. The First Order shows up, and they have no compunction about killing Poe and Kaz, while they're trying to not shoot at them and remind them, look, we're supposed to, no confrontation, and then they end up having to do it anyway.
Yeah.
It was pretty good. It was good.
So for those of you that are pining over the loss of the series to break,
Which is me.
Which is Kyler,
Not to cancellation.
Disney has released a series of short films in the universe in that story. I have not had a chance to watch them. Did you?
I haven't had a chance to watch them yet, but I did read a little bit about it. Apparently, these 12 shorts are from BB-8's point of view.
Oh, are they?
So they're
Like
all,
literally from his
literally,
point of
like actually, yeah, like put the camera inside his dome, roll around. Like, yeah, so
I feel like my initial thought is that would be terrible.
But I saw like a little clip of one, like 30 seconds or something like that.
Right.
They had a little commercial for it or whatever. And it actually looks kind of fun. Like, I'm
Is
a
it?
little intrigued to go watch all these.
But Disney kind of knows what it's doing with cartoons by now, so
Yeah.
I'd be willing to give it a try.
One would hope so, yes.
Yeah.
If nothing else, it'll be extremely novel
Right.
to see the world from the actual, like, lens of a droid.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm excited for, if nothing else, for the novelty.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So, there you go.
I also saw that Mark Hamill tweeted a photo the other day, an exclusive Star Wars trailer photo. Yeah, he built that up, and it was in fact a photo of a trailer painted black with the word Star Wars on the side, a truck-drawn trailer.
Yep.
Yep.
Mark Hamill is a masterclass troll.
Yes, he actually said in that it was like hashtag, I don't know why I bother, there's no fooling any of you anymore. Something along the
Mark
lines
Hamill
of
is
that.
an absolute treasure.
Yes, he's delightful.
Yeah.
That's great. So, Chris, do you want to tell us what we're doing today?
Today, we are descending into the abyss. We are going to that dark place to which no man should be forced to go.
Yeah, which we are forcing Chris to go.
Well,
Very
no,
much against his will.
I was going to say, you're not really forcing me. I'm doing this, but I keep stopping and asking myself, why am I doing this? Like, why am I doing
Chris
this?
is rethinking his friendship with the two of us.
I'm
We are
I'm rethinking all my life choices at this point.
We are entering
It's
our
much
own-
broader than just friendship.
Yeah. We're entering our own Jedi trial dark side cave.
Oh, there
We
you
all
go.
have to do.
That's a good way to think
I
of it.
wish.
So-
I wish. I would take fighting Mock Vader or staring at myself in mirrors. That'd be fine. Especially if Daisy Ridley was in one of those mirrors. I mean, come on.
Oh,
But,
man.
no, today we are watching the Star Wars Holiday Special. Viewers.
And as of recording this section, we have not watched it yet.
Yeah.
And I
But
am
we're
filled
about
with
to.
schadenfreudistic glee.
So I've watched this once in my life. I'm pretty sure I've blocked most of it out at this point, so this will basically be watching it again for the first time.
I have never seen it all the way through.
Yeah.
I've
Oh,
seen
it's-
a couple of bits and pieces here and there, but I've never seen the whole
So
thing.
for reference, listeners, I have a scale on which I rate movies from 1 to 5. The Star Wars Holiday Special is a -1 on that scale. So that scale goes 5. This movie is worth seeing, paying full price to see in the theater multiple times. Like, I will shell out the dough. And, these days often it's like, well, I don't have the dough to do that. But if I had the dough, I would do that. It would be worth it. And obviously want to own it. 4 is worth paying full price to see once in the theaters. Probably want to own it. 3 is, see it in the dollar theater. It's totally, you want to see it on the big screen. It's worth it, but not at full price. And then
Go on your 50-cent Tuesday, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever deal you can find.
And then 2, a rating of 2 is, Redbox it, Netflix it, whatever, whenever it comes out. Just if you want to watch it, you can, but don't pay more than that. Don't go out of your way to a theater. That's just a hassle. A 1 is don't go out of your way to see this movie. Like,
But if it winds up on TBS in 10 years...
Exactly. If you're
yeah.
curious about it, if you're flipping through channels and you come across it, or you're on Netflix trying to figure out what to watch and you're like, oh, they have this on there now. Yeah, alright, why not? But don't watch it in a situation where you can't turn it off on your own. Unless it's one that that you can walk away from. If you're in a doctor's office or something that's playing, yeah, maybe. But 0 then, technically not on the scale. Once we're off the scale, is only watch this movie with riff tracks or something like that. Mystery Science
Twilight,
Theater
for
3000.
example.
Yes, Twilight is an excellent example of that. Don't watch that movie unless you have riff tracks. If you have riff tracks, it's a delight.
Oh, if you have riff tracks, it's like a 4 on
Yeah.
your scale.
Or if you are good at riffing on your own, get some friends together and just make fun of it and laugh at it. That's fine. Plenty of movies fall into a 0 scale there, where otherwise don't bother. There is no redeeming features. There are no redeeming qualities to watching this movie unless you're mocking it or someone is mocking it for you. And then there is a -1 on the scale, which is the don't even watch this with riffing. Like, riff tracks, riffing cannot save this film. You will try, and for a while you might laugh, but it'll quickly die in just the soul-sucking horror of how cosmically bad that film is. To date, there are 2.5 films at a -1. That's how bad this is. I very rarely find
What are
films
they?
that would be the Star Wars Holiday Special, obviously.
Which is king.
Yes. The Last Airbender, as in M. Night Shyamalan's The Last Airbender film, which you might not fall to a -1 if you didn't already love the original Nickelodeon series, but if you did, then don't watch that movie. Like, I warned my sister. I went and saw it opening night. It was... I couldn't sleep that night. Like, it was that bad. I was just laying there going, why?
I remember getting a phone call from you out of the blue, just like totally apropos of nothing, and you're like, listen, this is very important. Do not go see this movie.
I told everyone, don't go see that movie. And our friend Caleb, he texted me a day or two later and was like, I should have listened to you. And I was like, I know you should. Why didn't you listen to me, man? I told you.
I remember that.
My sister did listen to me. She has never seen it, and bless her, she's better off for it.
I still have never seen it. It's on Netflix, and every time I'm like, maybe I should.
No.
And then I have Chris's voice ringing in the back of my head. Don't see this movie. And I'm like, I don't want to ruin it.
There is no redeeming it. It's atrocious. And then the second and a half movie is Aragon, which is worth riff tracksing for about the first half of the movie. It'll be funny and you'll be laughing, but then eventually you'll reach this critical mass of how bad that movie is, and you just won't be able to laugh anymore. And it was about halfway through that for me and my friend Jason when we were watching it that we just hit a point of just like, this isn't funny anymore. Like, Riff Tracks is still trying to joke, but it's just like you can hear it in their voices that they've lost all hope. There is no bright dawn. There is only darkness. This movie is so bad. Oh, and we just eventually turned it off. And we're just like, why? No, we've gone too far. We can't ever come back from this. So, but the first half of it was still entertaining, and so it's the half on there, the 2.5. Those are the 3 -1 movies that I have encountered in my life. And this is the first time I have ever gone back to a -1 movie.
Yes!
And I'm actually thinking about, I'm sitting here doing this and I'm like, we really need to push up in our schedule the Star Wars versus Harry Potter episode, just because Kyler is enjoying himself so much, how much I'm going to hate this, that I'm like, I gotta do something to him now. We got to do that. It's Harry
true.
Potter episode.
I loathe Harry Potter, so I've read the first 6. Well, I'll share that story when we get that episode.
But so I'm doing that, listeners. We're moving that up in the schedule so that you can all listen to Kyler's misery as well, and then Kyler and I can join forces to try and find some way to make Ross miserable.
It's true.
It's kind of tough. I'm pretty.
I know Ross is pretty chill.
We don't need to though. We're about to watch the Star Wars Holiday Special.
Yep,
we're all about to be.
So
miserable.
we're gonna pause this. Go watch it, and then come back. So when you hear us come back, we will have been freshly tortured by this.
And it's free on YouTube, so I don't have to try and find it or anything. Just YouTube it. It's all there.
We briefly toyed with the idea.
Don't YouTube this. Don't watch this. That's the only justification I can find in my head is that I'm doing this so that you don't have to.
And by the way, so this will be my 3rd time viewing it. So the first time I watched it on my own after hearing about it.
I think we have a fan over here.
No. See,
there is no such thing.
The second time I watched it because I mentioned it to my wife and she had not heard of it. And that was the point when my own countenance darkened and I was like, oh no, what have I done?
Yes.
Now we're going to have to watch it because she looked excited.
Yep.
We did.
It was like me and Caleb with don't watch this. It's like, well, but now I gotta watch it. No, you really don't. You don't understand. You're thinking, oh, I'll laugh at how bad it is. You won't. There is no laughter. It's just goes out in space. Nobody can hear you dying.
and that's more or less what I told Carrie at the time, but we still had to do it. And so now we're doing it again this 3rd time. The YouTube video that I keep using to watch it has not been taken down. So it has never had a copyright claim on it, and YouTube's been crapping.
Nobody wants to claim ownership.
I know. And that's just it. It is so bad. The companies that made it don't care that it's up and free.
Yeah, they're like, no, we don't.
Not making
it's
the
like
money.
whoever it was. Didn't you make this? I don't know.
I don't know who. What? No,
yeah,
I've
I
heard
don't
about
know.
that thing. That was
it's not mine.
Excuse me. I gotta go cut myself some more.
For real.
When this was mentioned to Harrison Ford on a late night, I think it was not Jimmy Fallon, the other one, Jimmy Kimmel. Yeah. Jimmy Kimmel mentioned it, or maybe it was Conan. I don't remember. When it was mentioned, Han Solo just shook his head, like in convulsions, like couldn't accept it was there.
But no, I don't remember anything. Yep. No, but you were in it. Nope, I was not. I don't remember anything. We've got to
no. Yeah. So anyway,
that sounds like Kimmel. I can't. Well, Conan might be that mean.
My initial idea was to have us do a riff tracks of our own as this episode for you guys, the listeners, to watch at home.
I nixed that because, like
and
I
Chris,
said,
persuaded us. He put his foot down. He's like, I will not participate.
It just won't work. There is no riffing.
Yeah.
You will start out doing that. We'll do it while we're watching, but it just dies.
Yeah.
With how bad it is.
So, we will see you after our intermission.
Yep.
One eternity later.
We did it.
There we go.
We did it, guys. We did it.
It was bad. Boy,
Yeah.
that was bad.
It is so bad.
That was bad.
Yeah, your first time seeing it. Give us what you think.
Well, we were talking about this towards the end of it, that looking back, I wouldn't have been surprised if George Lucas had been the one to make it.
At the time, I would have been astounded.
Yeah.
Nowadays,
but,
after the
he
prequels,
didn't have anything to do with it. Looking back, it's like, wow, I'm kind of surprised he didn't have anything to do with it, but it was bad.
After those stories about Darth Icky and stuff, it's like, well, yeah, naturally he probably named Itchy and Lumpy, but...
Yeah. So I did have a couple of notes, and then I've got some quotes that I wrote down of things people said during this.
We should say first off that he did have a little bit to do with it. He wasn't.
Yeah,
he
he signed
story.
off on it, but
Right.
he wasn't like, oh, you know what would be
He was
great?
a creative director
Yeah.
here,
Yeah.
So I thought, the very opening shot of like the Wookiee homes, I thought the outside of the Wookiee homes looked pretty good. You can tell it was a painting and stuff, so that's it's okay. But I thought they looked pretty good, and I'm like, I could see that Wookiees would make something like that.
And you can see that it's influenced basically anything that's come out about Kashyyyk since.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you go inside, and I'm pretty sure the Wookiees were just having a sleepover in the Brady household.
Yeah.
Like, it looks like the inside of the Brady Bunch's house. So, long shag green carpet, all the stonework inside.
Yep.
Like, it's very much like Brady Bunch 60s, 70s feel to it. It was so bizarre, and all the furniture was like, I'm pretty sure they just literally walked up to the Brady Bunch set and was like, hey, do you mind if we borrow this for a couple of hours? Can we just like film something real quick, after you guys are done? Because all the furniture and stuff, like, I'm pretty sure my grandma had some of that furniture in her house, like the cabinets with the sliding doors and stuff.
Yep.
I'm like, I think I've played with that before as a little kid at
And
my
in
grandma's
some
house.
cases, they took pains to try and make them more sci-fi-y. But for the most part, nope, it's
No,
just
it's
straight
just straight up. Yeah, it was a lot less effort went into this.
Yes.
Like,
understandably.
I would say so little effort went into this that you could say barely any effort went into this.
Well, especially when you consider how many of the actual Star Wars costumes they clearly took and used for this.
Yeah.
It's impressive how little of the Star Wars set they actually got.
Yeah.
Which makes more sense because, especially back in those days, those sets got struck and moved. You needed the soundstage, you needed the space. Like, a lot of that would be saved as well. As well as the costumes would be, but still.
Then we see Luke, and he had so much makeup.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It could have been like a Maybelline commercial.
He's doing his best David Bowie there.
Yeah, he had a lot of eyeshadow, or a liner. I don't know makeup terribly well. Whatever the line, I think it's the pencil thing that you draw on your eyes with. Whatever that is.
The eyeliner.
Eyeliner, there we go. Confirmed by Chris.
I would
Luke had a lot on. Like, a lot on.
Yeah.
It was shocking.
Hans was noticeable, but not in a, like, holy cow.
Compared to Luke, I literally
Yeah.
didn't even notice Han
Yeah.
had any.
Yep. I did
Luke had
notice
so
Hans.
much.
Like, I was looking at Han going like, oh yeah, you went a little heavy. But yeah, compared to Luke, it's like, Luke is a deliberate, like,
maybe
David
the deadness
Bowie
in Harrison Ford's eyes distracted me. Because you could tell he did not want to be there, and there was
Nobody
some
wanted
sort
to
of
be there.
obscure clause in his contract that says, like, you must do this or else.
thing. Either that or they really paid them a lot of money.
Or,
Yeah.
but judging by maybe that's why the quality was so bad. They had to pay the actors a lot of money to bribe them to go in there. So here are some of my other thoughts that I wrote down of things people said. I said this one. So right when Itchy, Chewie's father,
Yeah.
gets his VR headset chair plugged in to whatever
To
makes a
watch
Wookiee go
his,
up and down.
Stuff.
Yeah. There was some trippy lights and crap going on, and I just couldn't help myself. I just said, I feel like a lot of LSD went into this.
Yep.
And I think that was probably true of most shots in this production. There was a whole lot of LSD just fueling this nightmare. And then, was it Ross or Carrie that said this? So it's a rule-reading brush and toenail clipper that the guy's trying to sell? The friend, the merchant dude? comes in and he's like, oh, it does this. It's not just a groomer. It's this and that, and it it recites all the Imperial code of all 17 volumes or whatever. And I said something, and then you guys clarified, and I thought your clarification was funnier. So it's not. So it's a rule reading.
I was just shaking my head at that because he's basically the guy's just like a groomer, and the guy's like, "This isn't a groomer. It does all of this," and I was like, "So it's a groomer."
Yeah.
Like you literally aside from reciting Imperial code or whatever, everything that does falls under grooming.
And it doesn't even have Wi-Fi, so I mean, come on.
I know, right? You have to plug it in to charge it.
Yeah.
So then they did like another weird thing. Let me try to be more specific.
Which weird thing are you talking about?
The weird music video that plays during the VR headset scene of whatever fantasy Itchy is having.
Yeah.
Towards the end of that, or when it ended, I was like, I didn't get it. And I think Chris said something along the lines of like, we had to take drugs or something like that. And I said... And then it started showing Carrie Fisher, she looked so stoned throughout this whole thing. And I said, maybe that's why we didn't get it, because Carrie Fisher had done all of the drugs. No one else on set got any of it because, Carrie,
I'm pretty sure everyone on set had at least a little
bit
to
but
get through
every single time it showed Carrie Fisher, it was like, you did like an entire pound of cocaine right before they shot.
No, like I said, if it had been cocaine, she would have been perky. It's like she is just so drunk, or she's just so stoned. She's had so much marijuana.
Or maybe LSD. I'm not a partaker of the wacky substances, so I can't tell you about their effects. But boy, there was something, because she had that far off look on her face the entire time, and
staring in the middle of the
her line delivery.
Let's be fair. It's quite possible that she was just blocking out everything around her and trying to go to some sort of happy place. And just not... That's what I was doing watching it.
Oh, man. And then Chris briefly dozed off and then woke back up right as the Wookiees were marching off into the light. And then they're not dead. And then Chris expressed all of our feelings, which was, wait, we're still alive? This was supposed to be a suicide pact.
Yeah.
Oh, man. It was bad, guys. That was shockingly bad. Also, maybe... I'm no expert on Wookiee religion and theology, but the Wookiees, I guess, one day a year decide that they're all going to wear clothes.
Yeah. Just robes. Ceremonial things.
Yeah, ceremonial robes one day a year, I guess.
Yeah.
Boy, it was so weird. What was up with Itchy's jaw?
I'm sure it was just the props team trying to give him a old look.
Yeah.
Because like generally one of the tropes of old men is they have a really tall lip.
Yeah. It was
that comes
so
up
bizarre.
and they kind of start to chew on their top lip. So that's what it was trying to be, I think. But
the prosthetics department, I'm sure they were not
very
working
little
with
made
that.
sense. And what the crap was up with Itchy's cartoon? Or Lumpy's cartoon.
Yeah.
So that was actually like live what was happening, but it turned into a cartoon?
The live action what was happening was B. Arthur's bar, apparently, because that was the we're going to show you how awful life is here so that you'll feel better about yourselves, and we're going to announce that's what we're doing, PR thing that you're all required to watch. But then it's like reacting in real time to or something. I don't know what was going on there. But yeah, that cartoon is just... Apparently, Boba Fett is, like, suing some corporation out there for using his likeness without his permission, which is frightening. But even more frightening is the fact that this corporation apparently has access to Luke, Han, and Leia's real voices. Because at least Boba Fett, they're only using his image. That's not what Boba sounds like. But with the three of them, it's like, oh, dear. Wow. That's disturbing.
It's so bad.
Yeah.
That's like a rebellion propaganda cartoon or something, which is why Lumpy had to alt-tab away real quick.
Yeah, when the officer comes
But
over to
even
him,
that's worse, because it's like Mala's sitting here like, okay, they're looking for any ties to the rebellion, let's just get Lumpy out of the way. Here, sit down and watch a rebellion cartoon.
Yeah.
Like, seriously?
And act natural, Lumpy.
Yeah, that is not how Lumpy acts.
He's far more irritating than that, actually. That I actually enjoyed him the most was when he was just zonked out watching his cartoon.
I know, right?
Oh boy, that was so bad. My goodness!
I warned you.
Chris was not wrong, listeners. Don't Don't worry. Do like a best of highlights on YouTube
No,
and save yourself
no,
like
just
an hour and
stay
15
away.
if you're desperate to do it.
So, from a creative standpoint, looking at that, like, some of the logic behind some of the decisions, like, this is a pretty standard holiday special variety show format where it's like, hey, we're gonna have a very loose plot that basically exists as an excuse to tie together a bunch of vignettes that generally consist of some sort of musical performance or some other type of performance. So the basic idea is like, it's there, that's what this is, but it is so bizarre and so far out there and so lifeless that I can't understand how this happened. Like, I feel like someone in a meeting was like, yo, you know what would be a good idea? Is if it was like a holiday in Star Wars, instead of trying to put Christmas in, because that'd be weird.
Yeah.
We'll just do it like some Life Day holiday thing without the trappings of
I
Christmas.
would have rather had Santa bring Chewie a new bowcaster.
Right?
Honestly.
Yeah.
That would have been... It would have made, honestly, it would have made more sense for them to appear in our universe with Santa Claus than whatever the crap that was.
If you're gonna shamelessly sell out and shill stuff for Christmas shopping, just do it. Like, it's, and you know, it's funny, without that, what we just watched, I might look at that and go like, oh, that's a clever idea, you know, we'll make a holiday special, a classic holiday special like we've all seen, but about a Star Wars holiday. But it's just so poorly executed on every front that it's just, it's painful. And like the just complete lack of effort to make any sort of coherent sense in the frame plot or any sort of coherent sense with what we're even watching. Like, if you pick up on Netflix, you can watch A Very Murray Christmas, is Bill Murray's Christmas special on there. And I'm sad to report that it's quite bad.
It wasn't as bad as this one.
No.
But I didn't mind it.
Few things are as bad as
year,
this.
And it was weird and very clunky in how they go together. But it was Bill Murray. I still enjoyed it.
I love Bill Murray. You don't find many more avid Bill Murray fans than in my family, but we all watched that and just kind of went, huh.
It was disappointing. Like, it's definitely not the same quality as almost anything else he's done.
But you compare something like that to this, and it's like, at least I can see some sort of coherency to the ongoing frame plot, and B, some sort of purpose or idea or sense behind each of the vignettes. Like, we're going to showcase this actor singing this song or this band playing this music that you know. Whereas this is just really like, you got this weird hologram thing that Lumpy's watching at the beginning that it's like, I don't know who these people are. I don't know what this, like, I mean, I guess it's not bad juggling and flippy stuff or whatever, but who cares?
Man, that totally reminded me of like Willy Wonka, like Oompa Loompas. It was super bizarre. And they, like, the costuming there looked like leftover, like it looked like rejected costumes from the original Star Trek.
And then you get into
not even the bad ones they used, the rejected ones.
Yeah. And then you've got a bunch of musical performances by all these different people that are all really just dull. Like, that's my biggest complaint about all of them. It's like, they're weird, they're bizarre. It's you're watching it, you're going, what am I watching? But it doesn't take you to go that long to just be like, why am I watching? Like, this is so boring. Like, this isn't even a good song. None of them are. Not a single one. The closest you get is B. Arthur's song at the end, which has at least got a little bit of pep to it, but not much. And it's just bad.
Boy, the rhyming in that was bad. In B. Arthur's song. Like,
it's bad.
It was bad.
Saying it's I felt bad at the end.
It was really bad, but it was the best part of the whole thing.
Yeah.
And you got to the credits there at the end, and it's had music written by, and it looked like it was a husband-wife team, and I was like, I don't know how you got this job. I hope you never got a job again. Sorry to say that, but it's like, that music was bad.
Well, and even the stuff that they didn't write fresh was just taking what was already written, the Star Wars themes,
and like changing the tempo or something.
Usually
like
slowing them down.
Yeah.
And giving them words. So I mean,
yeah, it was bad.
And then you've got like this is one of the little vignettes that they're trying to tie together here. is an instructional video for Lumpy to put together some sort of transmitter.
I take
thing.
it back. That was the best part.
It was just like I was sitting there in the middle of that, and I'm like, oh god, I forgot this thing. How is this even in here? Like, I can't even figure out why this is supposed to be entertaining.
Yeah.
Like, it's basically just this guy pretending to be a robot that's breaking down the entire time.
Yeah.
But it wasn't ever funny at any point, and
it was really... Oh, I thought it was funny at one point and one point only, when he's like, okay, you're going to connect these things to these things, blue to blue, like so. I'm like, okay, I'm with you. That's pretty standard. You're hooking up your TV, red to red, white to white, yellow to yellow. Got it. Okay, cool.
Back in the day.
Back in the day. Yeah,
Yeah.
Sorry, we're old, guys. Yeah. So now it's HDMI to HDMI port. Got it. Okay. But
Wait,
I'm
which
like...
HDMI port is that?
Yeah.
I can't find it. There's like 6 on here. It's got to be one of them.
Back in the day, I'm like, okay, so I see where you're going. He's like, now do this for all 10,000. I'm like, wait, hold on. He mentioned earlier how these have one color to one... You're telling me this Wookiee child has to match 10,000 different colors to the correct 10,000 different, ports for these? What?
Did they say 10,000, or I thought that was just our joke?
No, he said 10,000.
Did he? Oh, okay.
He's like, there's 10,000 pins. Each pin is color coded. Blah blah blah.
We got
Blue
into
to
the
blue.
opening of that one, and I went, "Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
that's right."
it was
oh,
bad.
God. Oh.
There was a lot of riffing going on just between the three of us, just to make it somewhat bearable.
To help us get
tried.
through.
I will be honest with you. I was laying on Ross's floor, so Ross's wife joined us because she's a glutton for punishment. So it was Ross and Chris and Ross's wife on their couch. I was like, oh, that's fine. I'll take the floor. That's fine. I did start to fall asleep.
I envy you.
So after that, so last night, baby was up late.
Did
Anyway,
it? Yeah.
so it was
One
bad.
of those.
See, that's the painful thing here.
Yeah.
Is I should be exhausted. I did not sleep well last night.
So,
But it was
I started
so
falling
painful.
asleep, and I'm like, oh, geez, if I start snoring, they're going to give me all kinds of crap. That I forced them to watch this, and then I'm the one that falls asleep, so I'm like, okay. So I got up. I didn't even bother to tell them to pause it. I'm like, I have to pee. So I went and peed, came back. It was still going. I'm like, boy, I don't even feel bad. And then I sat in Ross's rocking chair.
Well, and that was the other thing, is that all of the gags in this fell under your complaint of just taking way too long. Every little segment took way too long, because you didn't actually miss anything.
Yeah, I know.
Than,
I actually wonder. I was like, I wonder how much I missed. And then as I was in there, I was like, probably almost nothing.
Yeah. He was still doing the robot gag.
And so then I
gag.
came back out, and I'm like, oh, yeah, he's still watching. So I haven't missed anything at all.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
And then you got that trader that's helping them, who's I think he was a comedian. I don't remember his name, but he's supposed to be funny.
Yeah, I think he was
but
on a
half
TV
of,
series.
Half of his lines just end up getting mumbled. You can't even hear what he's saying, especially in that sequence where he's talking to the
Or when he's
Imperial
setting up
pilot
the
in his-
Jefferson Starship rock show for the Imperial guy, and he's doing all the weird hand gestures and stuff off to the side and pretending to. I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What is
the joke here? Is there something going on?
Yeah, it made no sense at all. That's, by the way, the theme of the holiday special is that made no sense at all.
Yeah.
Well, they made a film about a family waiting for dad to come home.
Yeah.
The most boring part of anyone's day.
And if you have not seen this, it is not an exaggeration when I tell you that the first 10 minutes of this holiday
Have
special
no spoken lines.
have no English spoken lines.
Yeah.
You have some Wookiee growls
With
and
no
miming,
subtitles.
because apparently when the Wookiees growl at each other, they don't understand each other either, so they have to mime things out.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, the mom couldn't figure out what her son was saying, even though they're both speaking the same language.
Yes.
I forgot about that.
And it is. You sit there watching it to start out, and it's just really? They aren't going to... Okay, they're just not going to talk.
Oh, that reminds me.
And then we were sitting there talking about it, and I was just like, yeah, and you watch this, and you go, wow, they're really just not talking. That this is just 10 solid minutes of a bunch of
that
a couple
was
Wookiees.
very bizarre.
And that's the high point of the film. It does not get better after that. It just goes down.
Okay, Chris told me that when it first started. I'm like, wow, this is really weird. And he's like, this is the high point of the film. And I was like, really? Because I'm thinking Chris is just being salty and sarcastic, as he usually is.
Nope.
That's true.
Chris is not wrong, actually. That was the high point of the movie. You still have energy and hope.
Yes.
At that point.
That's
Well,
what
and
it is.
at that point, it's basically this weird little vignette about
Yeah.
a Wookiee family waiting for Dad to come home and trying to keep busy while they wait.
Yeah.
And it's weird, and it's really slow and awkward because nobody is actually talking.
Mhm.
And they just keep going, and it's way too... Everything in this is way too long.
Yeah.
Everything's dragged out.
They had about 10 or 15 minutes of ideas and stretched it out to an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Okay. Ross,
Well, But the idea should have been, how about you follow the people that actually have the conflict in the story, right? Han and Chewie are trying to get through an Imperial blockade.
yeah, that's
They
true.
don't do that because they don't have any special effects.
Well,
Yeah, because even
Still.
during that, they're using footage from the movies.
yeah, they're using old footage. But you do it all inside the cockpit of the Falcon. I mean, you can do something. But instead, you do everything about the family waiting around while people do cool
That's
things.
true. It wouldn't require
elsewhere.
too many special effects to just point the camera at the two seats, the two chairs in
Yeah.
the cockpit, and just...
Yeah.
Well, see, and
have
they
those
did,
two.
because anytime you can actually see any of the acters, it is new footage.
Yeah.
Anything that's
Yeah,
outside
yeah.
is old
It's also really awkward in that footage, though, is because you get... Whenever you get Han and Chewie interacting,
Oh,
their
man.
relationship is, like, apparently... They've taken it to the next level or something.
Yeah.
Because they're weirdly more...
a little more touchy. Yeah.
A little more touchy, a little
Yeah.
more vocally affectionate than you ever see them in the movies, and it's
frankly,
just kind of
it's
like,
the,
okay,
it's
guys,
the like
I guess.
stereotypical argument about like, oh well, we always go to your family for Christmas. We need to go. Why can't we go to
Yeah.
my? It's like
Actually,
that kind of
yeah.
like that kind of feel where he's like, oh fine, I guess we'll take you to your family for your holiday. I know it's important to you, It's like, and every frame, every instant of Harrison Ford is just filled with loathing and regret. And having been, you can see Harrison Ford is like, I would rather be drinking Kool-Aid in Jamestown than be here. Oh, boy.
maybe this is the start of the actors' sour feelings towards the franchise.
It very well could
I
be.
wouldn't blame them.
It was bad. And then Carrie, just blissed out on whatever drugs she
Yeah.
had taken.
She had
But,
the best time, I'm sure.
Ross, you said something funny about the cartoon when they crash land.
Oh yeah, on the meat planet, meat is made of ground beef. Apparently,
I was like, "What is this planet made of?" And Ross was like, "I think it's ground beef."
Yeah. It's all
I
red.
was dying.
It's kinda,
Lumpy.
Yeah,
Like even when like clumps like fly up and stuff, it's like it's kind of it looks like it would have the texture and consistency of ground beef.
yeah. You don't
like
want to
raw
touch
ground
whatever
beef.
it is. Yeah,
Yeah, and then boy, that's
See, and
so
it's funny
weird.
that I would say that cartoon is actually one of the other high points of that film because
Yeah,
at least
that's-
they're
it wasn't
trying.
as bad,
They're at least
that's
trying
true.
to have some sort of cohesive plot there, but it's all over the place.
It was so weird.
story
did you
follows-
notice the animation when Han, the very first shows Han,
Yeah.
and he's leaning over? It's like his chin is like
Yeah.
made love to Jay Leno's chin.
yeah.
It's enormous. And then he sits up and his whole face
stretches
out
Yeah.
to fill the head that has been created with this giant
Yep.
chin. It was the weirdest thing
And
ever.
then he starts talking. Well, then his mouth starts
then
moving.
his mouth
Yeah.
starts
and then you get
moving.
like 2 words.
and
like,
his mouth stops talking, and the rest of the words finish. It was like the worst Japanese dub ever.
Yeah,
it was.
bad.
It actually was like it made that moment for me. I'm like, this is fantastic. It
Well,
did
but the whole
give
thing,
us-
it was just like watching it is just like this bizarre, like, oh, Han and Chewie are coming in, but something's going on. Oh no, Han's tied up. What's going on? We don't know. I finished it twice now. I still don't know what was
Yeah,
going
that
on. There's
is-
some sort
it
of
was-
amulet that Chewie's trying to get rid of
that has
and
a
some sort of
virus.
virus
Yeah.
or something.
It was weird. It's so weird.
I
I did like Boba Fett. Like
He's not the
it-
same Boba
he's
Fett
not
we know
the
and
same
love,
Boba Fett, but I liked it because for those of you who don't
It's
know,
actually
we've mentioned
probably
it
the most
before.
competent Boba Fett has ever been on the screen.
That is true. Sadly,
it is not wrong.
So for those of you who don't know, the holiday special is the first on-screen appearance we ever get of Boba Fett.
Yep.
This is where Boba Fett is born.
Yeah.
So I was particularly excited to see just what he does here.
Well, it's where he was visually born. They had the idea for him beforehand.
Right, but that's what I mean, is where we first see him. This is the first time anybody outside of the studio itself.
Yeah. Interesting anecdote. The coloring is off on Boba Fett.
Oh yeah, he's wearing like white and brown.
And yeah, a little
It's
bit
kind of
blue.
weird.
Yeah,
got blue
but
on his
the
helmet.
reason why was because the animators doing the Christmas special only had an unpainted version of the armor for Boba Fett. They actually had some stuff
Yeah.
started, but they didn't have the colors on it, so they just made it up on their own.
But some things that I saw, so he's got this cool rifle, which, well, it looks dumb in the cartoon, but it is going to be in The Mandalorian.
Right.
The Mandalorian has this rifle, and it looks way cooler in The Mandalorian. So
Yeah.
I'm excited for that. But you see Boba use his whipcord that he uses to trap Luke in Return of the Jedi. So I'm like, that's really cool that they brought that over. His jetpack is used for the first time. So I'm like, cool, we see the jetpack. And I noticed, Legion players will notice, he's got his boot spikes in this cartoon.
You know, I noticed that. I hadn't noticed those before.
And I mean, they're hard to see because you don't get many foot shots of
Right,
Boba
of Boba
in the
Fett.
movies, but he does have them there. So I was like, dang, when they put Boba on screen, it was really consistent with Boba from the holiday special. So that made me happy. But but yeah, landing on a planet made entirely of ground beef was bizarre to say the least. And then Ross brought up the good point. Why in the world would Luke Skywalker take a Y-Wing to hunt down the Millennium Falcon? Or Chris, what the crap? The Y-Wings are so dang slow, dang it.
I feel like it's just they wanted to highlight something other than the X-Wings
Yeah.
or something. I
It
don't
did
know.
have 2 seats, which makes sense.
Yeah, that's true. He needed to take
To have 3PO with him
maybe.
for some reason.
3PO. Yeah, that was
Let's take
that
the
was
slowest ship in our
oddest
fleet to track
shoehorn
Yeah.
excuse to take 3PO ever. Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
it's
they
so
need to
bad.
translate.
Yeah.
Okay, so we promised this would be a shorter episode, and I'm ready to be done talking about this.
Uh,
Oh boy, let's.
I did have a couple
Ross,
fun
you go ahead. I'll pull
anecdotes
some other things up.
from the Wikipedia article. So, I mean, I do suggest you go and read it just because it is a fun read. But just a couple interesting things.
Cool.
First is, this is the first time that James Earl Jones is actually given credit for the voice of Darth Vader. Beforehand, in the original releases of A New Hope, he was uncredited.
yeah.
So it's the first time we see Boba Fett, which we just talked about. Oh, so Kenny Baker, the small man who was inside R2-D2 to do a lot of R2's functioning in A New Hope, and actually throughout the rest of the series, was not invited to be part of the Christmas special, or the holiday special, excuse me. And all of the movements that R2 does were just done through the remote control, which was being piloted by George Lucas's receptionist, and not the actual...
Which is why it's super bad. You
Yeah.
can tell that R2 doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's
it's really bad.
terrible. And then my last little bit is a good quote from Carrie. So, Carrie was convinced to do part of the commentary on the Blu-ray release for the original trilogy. It actually might even be for all 6. I don't know. It didn't specify. But her compensation,
Oh, so
part
this
of
is
it...
from Carrie Fisher?
This is from
Sorry,
Carrie Fisher
I was
herself,
like,
yeah.
your wife? I don't remember her saying. I'm pretty sure she didn't do that.
No. As much as she'd love to. Carrie requested as part of her compensation, it may have not been serious because this is Carrie and she's just the way she is, but she said that she wanted a copy of the Christmas special, or holiday special. Dang it, come on. She wanted a copy of the holiday special.
You're so adequate.
I know. So that when she's having a party, she would have something she can put on when she wants people to leave. So,
I would probably leave.
I think that is the most apt description of
Yeah.
the holiday special.
Yeah, I
don't
think
think
I'd be
we'll top
sitting
that.
there like, well, I'm hanging out with all my Star Wars idols. Nope, not worth it.
Yep.
Leaving.
Yep.
Yeah, I think we'll end it there.
So.
Yeah.
So, so
No, wait. There is one other
Oh,
thing that Chris and I
shoot.
were talking about just.
how do you
just a
top
minute ago.
that? Well, come on, Ross.
It's true, but I just have to make a mention at how angry it makes me
Oh, yeah.
that some little things from the Christmas special are still bleeding through into canon. I mean,
Like B. Arthur.
like B. Arthur being in the visual dictionary as the
Oh.
night shift person in the cantina. And also, I mean, as it'll probably be fine in the TV series, but the gun from The Mandalorian. Just stop.
And Lumpy in Chuck Wendig's
That's right.
Aftermath books
And that's right.
that-
Yeah. Thanks, Chuck Wendig, a lot.
So they just need to, as Kylo says, let the past
Yeah.
die. Kill it
That
if you have to.
particular one needs to.
Sometimes
Yes.
the
Be
past
brutally
does
murdered.
need to be killed.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm in favor of that. It was so bad. Don't do it, guys. Don't be like me and convince your friends. It's just don't, okay? Forever will it dominate your destiny if you go down this dark path, okay?
Okay, and also, on the record, now we've done the Christmas special, holiday special.
Oh,
We will never do it again.
I was going to actually say that. So, before we watched this, I had the idea of, well, maybe we'll make this a Christmas tradition. We'll watch it every year.
No.
I didn't ever tell these guys that. I am rescinding this offer before I even make it. We are not going to do that again. That was bad.
Yep.
So we hope you enjoyed this because it will never happen again. So awful. Yeah. So this this episode is going to be our last episode of the year.
Mm-hmm.
You won't hear us again until we come back in 2019. So yeah, Chris is counting over there on his fingers like a kid in kindergarten.
Yep.
Yeah.
After that, I can't think. I can't.
Yeah.
Math.
Our next episode after this one will air, I think, the day after New Year's
Should
Day.
be the second.
I think it's the second.
Yes.
So I'm going to
really, when you say this is the last one for this year, it's the same joke that you tell on New Year's Eve. Oh, it's the last time I'm going to eat this year. there's no actual pause or anything. It's just the last
but join us in 2019 for more of this podcast. I'm going to forego the outro that I had written. It tells you what we're doing next because I've decided I want it to be a surprise for the new year. So,
okay.
There we go.
Also, as I said, I'm going to force them to rearrange some of our schedule.
You're not rearranging this one.
I won't. No, I wasn't.
This one.
I wasn't going to rearrange the next one, but
so hopefully you left some blue milk out for Santa, and yeah,
and some Nerf nuggets,
and some Nerf nuggets for the reindeer. I guess I don't know,
and some bantha loin.
Yes.
Oh
gosh.
Loin.
Comfortably feeds 4, even though a bantha is literally the size of an Indian elephant. Anyway, be sure to follow us on Twitter and let us know how much you hate the holiday special at More Civilized, and join our Facebook group, A More Civilized Podcast. And while they're looking up some stuff, I have some shout-outs, so you guys do your outros while I...
Oh, yeah. You can speak with me on Twitter at Mr_Rstar.
Yes, and if there are any topics you'd like us to cover, if anything you want us to talk about, please let us know. We'll try and do an episode on that topic and have a good time with that.
As long as this isn't the topic.
Yeah, we are not talking about this anymore.
If you bring it up, you will be ignored.
I'm not going to lie. Commentary on it is going to pop up in our other episodes just because it lingers. You can't get it out after it's gotten in.
Festering wound.
Yeah, it's parasite in your head. But
So I have some shout-outs to some of our excellent listeners.
Yes.
We've had a really good surge in listenership this last little bit. So just a few shout-outs to my buddy Crew Dutler, or otherwise known as Drew Cutler, but he's at Crew Dutler on Twitter. He's awesome. He's also a fan of Bacon Sale and Radio Ronin, podcasts that I listen to faithfully. So hi Drew. Richard B, hi, how are you? You're awesome. Thanks for your following us and all that kind of stuff. And Josh Tussler, who's creating a ruckus out in Colorado for us, and either likes us enough to continually download our episodes or is pestering other friends of his to download us. So thanks, Josh. You're awesome. It's been fun going back and forth with you on Twitter.
Really enjoyed the last GIF.
What's his name? Dave Chappelle with his cocaine nose.
Yeah.
That was pretty good. We all got a good kick out of that. Ryan at nearref2112 on Twitter. Thanks for your comments and stuff. It's good to have you around, and to all of our other followers as well. But those guys in particular. Oh, and the Rebel Fleet out of Canada, eh? Rebel Fleet at Rebel HQ on Twitter. I've been following them for a while because they post a lot of fun Armada stuff. And then I shamelessly plugged us to them and asked if they had listened to us, and they were cheeky enough to be like, well, I do now, and showed a screenshot of them downloading our episode or whatever.
Yeah, nice.
So they're awesome. They're out of Canada. So how's the Great White North up there, eh?
Hey.
I'm just kidding. They're from Alberta somewhere. Anyway. I can't resist making fun of Canada. It's so great. I have a sister-in-law from Canada, so it's okay, right? That's how it works? I don't know.
I think you have to be Canadian.
Oh, shoot. Okay, dang it. I've offended all of our northern neighbors.
Or drink enough maple syrup. Straight.
The Canadian
Straight.
will be fine.
The Canadian way, right?
How do you feel about hockey?
I actually like hockey. I mean, it's basically just a fight with a few rules.
I'm sure you're close enough. They're nice enough to induct you.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Anyway, I did live in Michigan for a while. That's close enough, isn't it? I mean, it's practically Canada.
I guess.
So, anyway. Oh boy. Well, anyway, that's for reals gonna be it. As always, I'm Kyler, and yeah, that's
our intro.
That's our intro. Sorry, the holiday special has so completely rattled me. I don't even know where I'm at anymore.
Thank you all. Have a good end of
geez.
the year, and may the force be with you.
Always.
I'm Anna Graves, and thank you for listening to a more civilized podcast.
Thanks for taking control, Chris. I cannot handle it.
Excuse me, I gotta go cut myself some more.